Alright, so bit of a different video today. Looks like I'm going to be doing this solo because this is going to be a very special video. If you guys have been watching on the channel for any amount of time, you'll realize that The Last of Us is one of my dad's favorite games of all time, next to Max Payne and just a few other games. But my experience with Last of Us, I can 100% see why he liked it as much as he did. I feel like after playing it, it was one of the greatest games ever made. And first off, the thing that brought me into playing it in the first place was because of the remake. The remake was coming out, the game looked phenomenal, and he told me that the gameplay was super good. So, first off, I liked the fact, I liked the game from the beginning because he told me that it was good, so I was immediately under the assumption that it would be good. So I went in and played, and Max Payne, I got bored. I got halfway through the game.
Whoa, what did you just say? You didn't tell me that. Max Payne 3, you got bored?
I got bored.
Hold on, man. Let me go get the shovel.
So, after I played that, I was going on to The Last of Us, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to beat this. It's probably going to be too long for me. I'm not going to like it. It's going to be boring. The pacing's just going to be slow. But when I got into it and I started playing it, the thing I realized about this game was the story was so good. The gameplay is awesome. This game has some of the best bullet damage in the business. I feel like this game was phenomenal and super well done, and I'd honestly want to play it again for the remake. Now, it's important to mention that I played the remaster. I never played the remake because I'm stuck on the PlayStation 4 Pro and my dad has the PS5. So, getting into it, first off, the gameplay is absolutely phenomenal, as I mentioned. The low ammo thing, that gets kind of annoying, but that's also like a super important part of the gameplay because a lot of the weapons, you're going to have a lot of different guns, and you're going to have limited ammo for different resources in different guns, so you're going to have to switch your playstyle up. And I love how the game does that. And every shot feels impactful. The melee combat is awesome. I love every single gun in the game. Everything just feels just super fun and just super creative. I like it a lot. I don't feel like there's many other games that come in with that punchiness that The Last of Us has. And I feel like the biggest thing that kept me hooked was the fact that the story was just freaking phenomenal. And when I played it, story's usually not that important to me in games, but Last of Us ran like a movie to me. I liked every single one of the characters. Characters in the game felt like real people to me. And Joel, I have almost kind of a personal connection with because I feel like Joel is like a perfect representation of what my dad would be like in that situation. Especially after the Firefly scene in the hospital. I feel like...
I feel like my dad's a psycho.
Yeah. I feel like he would just be unrelenting in that situation if anything happened to one of us. And I just feel that Joel was put in so well. I loved Ellie. I loved all the characters in it. Nobody was annoying. I just liked it. And it's like it conflicts you with the characters because you know what Joel did at the end was wrong. Because if Ellie died, they would have saved the world. They would have had the vaccine and all that stuff. And he did it anyway, out of selfishness, pretty much. But even still, I couldn't be mad at him because I didn't care. I didn't care enough to be mad. I wouldn't want to die for the rest of humanity. So he came in and saved her. And after how long I'd spent playing that game, I feel like Ellie dying just wouldn't sit right. And I feel like it's super well how the game makes it like super conflicting and hard to think of with yourself. Ah, dang it. I feel like this video's pacing is trash.
No, it's really good. I'm entertained. Yeah, no, stay out your head, man. You're doing good. You're doing real good. I'm actually kind of surprised by what you're saying about the end. See, you're getting in your head too much. I do that. Don't be like me. Be better.
I feel like
be better, boy.
Spoilers aren't a problem?
No, no, the game's been out since 2013. If they don't know what's going on, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1 it. I might keep that in there. That's funny. I feel like this is super trash.
Where did I leave
Something
off?
I would say.
And like I was saying, one of the biggest things that the game does in terms of story that makes it so interesting is that the game is conflicting. The story is conflicting. It makes you think. It makes you think twice about Joel, and it makes sense in the events that take place in the second game. And what Joel did, as much as I don't care, what he did ultimately was wrong. If he let Ellie die and let them do what they would have done, they would have created a vaccine and saved humanity. But after I played the game, I feel like I would have done the same exact thing. I don't feel like I would have let Ellie die. It's just letting these people kill my sister, essentially. And seeing that happen, I just wouldn't be able to take it. And seeing Joel do that, as selfish as it is, it's like it's super personable, and it's like it really reminds me of what my dad would do. It's just Joel really felt like my own dad, and I feel like that's why the whole game and why I had such a personal connection with Joel. And just how freaking awesome he is. I love how ruthless he is. Like in the game, he's a cold-blooded killer. Let's get that out there. Ellie is the one who breaks him out of his shell and returns him back to what he was. But in the end, he's still a cold-blooded monster. And I love that. And I see exactly why everybody was so upset with the second game. Because they went from such a beast, Joel, to him kneeling down and getting his head caved in with the golf club by a cinder block chick. It's just, yeah, I feel like that would it just ruin the experience, and it just immediately take me out. I was honestly considering playing The Last of Us 2. And that's funny because I have absolutely despised it ever since I heard Joel died. And, just how everybody was talking trash. And I was just under the assumption that the game would suck. And I'm just thinking about it, and it's like I was really looking forward to playing The Last of Us 2 after that game because I still liked Ellie. But the main thing that turned me off about the game was the fact that you'd have to play as Abby, the same douchebag that killed Joel. So the story, I feel like, in The Last of Us 1 is an absolute masterpiece. It's the best story I feel like I've seen in a game to date. And on top of that, the gameplay is super fun. And the gameplay is hard at the same time. So it's fun.
What difficulty did you play on?
I played on hard.
Okay.
So the game is hard, resource management is hard, and I feel like it's super fun. But this is the only game that I can think of to date where I've actually enjoyed the quiet moments in the game. I got so invested in the story and just how hard the combat is that the quiet moments in this game are like they're kind of a delicacy of sorts. I love having that, like the mix between the freaking balls to the wall combat and then the quiet moments where just Joel and Ellie are talking. It's awesome. I feel like this is the only game where I've ever liked downtime. Like in Far Cry, they'll spam enemies out of every nook and cranny, and it's like, even then I still get bored, because I'm not running into enemies every 2 seconds. This is the only game that I can think of where I actually enjoyed not killing people. And that was super interesting and a super weird change of pace for me, because I need constant action in the game to keep me interested. So this game definitely broke my perception on how a game should be and what fun in a game should be. And Last of Us 2 was just, or Last of Us is just generally a masterpiece in my opinion. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played. And I mean, of course, I'm still going to go back to playing Roblox because there ain't anything else. I definitely see why Last of Us 2 was so hated after what it was meant to live up to. 12 minutes?
12 minutes? Gosh damn. Scoot your ass over. Scoot your ass over.
We're still continuing this, right?
The quiet moments. The quiet moments. You know, listen, I didn't put him up to any of this. This is all his own stuff, okay? I had no idea what he was going to say. I told him save it for the review. So sitting back listening to this, I'm very impressed to hear you say that. The quiet moments are brilliant in this game. And it's because you love the character so much. You can see where Ellie starts to melt Joel's heart. His rock solid heart. His bitterness and resentment that he has and hatred toward the world. Probably toward God for taking his beloved Sarah from him. You can see where she starts to crack through his armor. And watching that play out in gameplay makes the game so special. The quiet. That's why 4-player co-op shooters where it's just constant onslaughts. Dude, I get bored so fast. I can't take it. It's too much. It's too much noise. I need the quiet moments. So the looting and the interacting with Ellie and stuff like that, that makes the game even more brilliant. It really is a masterpiece in pacing, in storytelling, the way the game tells the story through the gameplay, and then you got the brutal action on top of everything else. Is absolutely fantastic. And I love that you noticed that, and I love that you were able to sit back and take in the quiet moments. That's awesome. The only thing I have that I personally was sitting down going, was to hear you say what he did was wrong. Is it wrong? Okay, let's think about this. So let's put your sister, my baby girl, in that same situation. It's wrong for me to save my daughter. And a lot of people say that wasn't his daughter. You can't tell Joel that wasn't his daughter. This is the first time Joel has felt love for anybody. Like, you could argue the fact that he didn't even love Tess. Like, there was a soft spot he had for Tess. But it wasn't like love. Not the love that you have for a child or for a daughter, the protectiveness that you have towards somebody like that. So, in his eyes, you can't tell him that. You can't say, oh, that's not your daughter. That is everything to Joel. That is his purpose in life. And you're taking that away from him.
Yeah, like...
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely understand. I'm saying, like, in the end, like, if there's a, your usual crossroads. So it's like, are you going to save the one person, or are you going to save the entire species? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, Joel was faced with that. But in truth, I feel like it was just morally wrong. Because if he would have let her die, they would have probably made a vaccine and they would have saved everybody. But
everybody doesn't matter because the only person that matters is Ellie.
And that's why I like
that's it.
That's why I like
that's
it so much.
That's like you two. You know what I mean? The whole world can be saved, but you two have the antibodies for them to make a vaccine or whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? And that may come across as insensitive because for me there is no world without these two. I don't even want to be in the world. And that's how Joel looked at it. What is the world without Ellie? This is the first time I've had any kind of hope in my life. He didn't even want her to go to see the fireflies toward the end. He just said, let's just be done and let's just go live a peaceful life together. That's it. He had his reason for living. He found it. And now you're going to take it away? Wrong answer. Not happening. Selfishness, you could make an argument for that. But wrong? I don't see it. I think right and wrong... I think right and wrong is like it's not cut and dry in that world. In that kind of situation. You know what I mean? Wrong, that would have ate him up for the rest of his life. That would have tore him down even worse than with Sarah. So now on top of that catastrophe with Sarah, now he knows that he let Ellie die. And he's not 100% sure if she was with her or not. What I don't get is, why didn't he just plead to Marlene, let's see what Ellie wants to do. Now if Ellie would have told Joel, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is good. And then Joel went and did it anyways. then you can make a much more solid case of selfishness and it being the wrong thing to do. In my personal opinion. I like that you have your own opinion about the game, but just to hear that it's the wrong thing, I don't particularly like that.
Yeah, it was just, in that case, I feel like that's kind of one of the main things I really liked about the game. It's like, it's really conflicting. And like I said, Joel is a super relatable character to me because I feel like everything he would do is what you would do in that situation.
Right.
So,
and that's fun. I never told him that. He beat the game and he came in and he said that to me. Joel reminds me of you. I just started laughing. I said, now you see why that character resonates with me so much.
yeah, so it's like he has either his daughter, pretty much, or the whole world, and he's just like, let the whole world burn.
Let them burn. Exactly. Yeah. They mean nothing to me. Yep. All right, good review, man. I'm impressed. Good review. All right, I'm sorry I had to, come in and bomb your review, but I just some things I wanted to clarify. No, good job. All right. Exit it out.
All right. Bye, everybody.